College.
Yes.
She
Yes.
verbaled, I think.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, for the ones that don't know, Kiana Miyazato is a national champion. She was part of the first national championship team in 2021 COVID season,
Ye-
2020/21, because they delayed the season.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your experience. Before we start talking about the national championship, let's talk a little bit about what got you playing soccer and how'd you elevate through the youth career to ultimately landing at Phoenix College?
There wasn't like a specific person or anything that really inspired me to play. My parents just ended up putting me in soccer when I was younger, and I ended up like loving the sport. I think I started when I was like 5 years old, maybe. And then
What color was your team?
I was Portugal, I think. Like that, like we had those kits, like the.
Oh,
like
so you played in the Palm Valley Soccer League.
honestly?
Yeah. So we had the international uniforms. So we did the MLS uniforms as well. One year we did, like, you were either Columbus Crew, New England Revolution, LA Galaxy, and then we had Portugal. We had all the national teams as well. We did it through MLS camps.
Oh, okay. Well, I honestly don't know.
Do you
I
remember
just-
where you played?
It was
All in one place, right? Like a big, like 15 small fields at Palm Valley Elementary.
maybe.
All right, she doesn't
Yeah.
remember at age 5. Go on.
I don't
Sorry.
remember. I'm sorry. And then let's see what else. As I was growing up, I just kept playing, and I saw like that you could like play in college and stuff. And I remember like the first camp I ever went to was the ASU camp, because my dad was like, "Oh, like you went to ASU. That'd be cool if you could go to ASU." And so I remember going to the camp, and I like seeing the girls there and like playing there. I was like, "Whoa, this is really cool to be able to play at like a higher level." And so ever since then, that was always my goal, was to just play at a higher level after high school and club. And yeah, just kept going from there since I was 5.
And ultimately chose to play for NAU. So you went to NAU, you had a bit of an experience, and then left.
Yes.
We don't want to get in all the details of why, but maybe through your experience of going through picking a university and then it wasn't what you hoped it to be. So can you like kind of educate those watching about how important it is to pick a school and do your research about where you're going? You had a coaching change though, so you went.
Yeah.
So talk about that too. There's a lot of coaching changes and stuff.
Mhm.
So kind of explain the process, how you went to NAU and things you can't control, which ultimately led you to come over here and play for the Bears. But kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I was being recruited, I was a junior, I think, and I remember going up on the visit and going to the campus and seeing how nice and pretty it was. And I should have done probably a little bit more research on like how the school is like year round, because also one thing up there, I didn't realize how much it snowed. And so that was another factor too. I was like, oh my gosh, this snow. I was like, it's too cold. I don't know about this. But yeah, I just do a lot of research on like the area, and then also like the coaching, the players, like genuinely ask like the players what they think of like the culture of the team, like how they play, like style of play, because I also with the coaching change for me didn't fit into their style of play, like the old coach, because it was more possession based. And then when I got there wasn't really much possession, and so like as a midfielder,
You're not gonna get that ball.
I would never get the ball. So
Yeah, and that is frustrating. I remember my son was playing at Tuzos, and he's the 10, and they were just playing boom ball.
Mhm.
And I was just a parent. I'm like talking to the parents. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not how I recognize Tuzos. I thought we play possession over here. You guys keep kicking it. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Mhm.
But no, I get that frustration. But uh, you went there. You were recruited by Andre,
Mhm.
who I love, great human being.
Yeah.
And he was there a long time. So, in my opinion, what I tell a lot of athletes, student athletes, is when you do your research, look for someone that the coach has been there for years, so you know they're a lifer,
Mhm.
and versus someone that's young and only been there 1 or 2 years because you don't know if they're going to leave or not.
Yeah.
In your situation, you look like you did do the research, you did pick a school that works, and but out of your control, they released Andre and came with a brand new coach where you're just like, okay, I didn't come here for you. I was recruited by Andre.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too, knowing who the coach is because they ultimately design the culture and all that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so you decided to leave NAU and you ended up training with us. Oh, so you chose to come to PC.
Yes.
You were actually in our weights program, our 70-day challenge thing, I think.
I was.
Yeah. How was that?
I actually loved it. That's why I would come every day. But that was honestly like going to that is what got me back to like loving soccer because when I was up at NAU, I like just didn't have the best experience and like at the end of it was even like thinking about not playing anymore. And then when I like ended up leaving, you opened up the opportunity to go to like the 70-day challenge thing.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'll go. And then ended up going to it and like every morning was like, oh, I was like, I like doing this. Even though like we would run in the morning and like do workouts and then like playing futsal after was always like really fun.
Yeah, I remember doing that, and then you were on top of the board, and then you missed a day, right? Which dropped you to the bottom.
Yeah.
So we were doing a 70-day challenge. I think Nico Schumacher was winning
Yeah, he
by
did.
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were doing 70-day challenge. You had to arrive at, was it 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.?
I think it was 5.
Yeah, 5 a.m. Lift weights, do running, play some futsal, but you had to show like 70 days in a row and you get a prize. And of course, COVID hit and ended that. And that kind of threw a wrench into everything, and which we didn't know we were going to play in the fall or anything like that. And where were you when you found out that we were going to have a season, and what was going on? I mean, it was kind of like everything was at a stop.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you ultimately decide, okay, I'm going to play at PC?
Well, I ended up enrolling in some like classes in the spring just to like continue with school, and then um like you said, after COVID hit, I was just like, well, might as well continue like going to school and playing here. And then I decided before the fall, like I don't remember exactly like when I decided to come play here, but I'm pretty sure it was like in the spring still,
Yeah.
right?
I think it was because in the fall, Maricopa canceled sports. So
Yeah.
then, which, by the way, Maricopa Community Colleges canceling sports. Great job, by the way. And then bringing it back. I lost half my roster, and then I had to like put a brand new roster in like 2 weeks, and I did it. But ultimately, it like we had Joel Sangwa on our team, Player of the Year. He now starts for Akron University, and we lost players of that level. It was frustrating. Not to make this podcast about me. I can always edit it. That was a frustrating time. But ultimately, you stayed here, and the team was like stacked. Like, I think you committing helped us get Zalma. Anisel was already here, but a lot of people, because you decided to come here, decided like I'll play at PC as well. So you were kind of the link to keep everything together. So let's talk about the national championship run. So describe the competition in Georgia. Who'd you guys play first?
Who did we play first?
They were strange names. Selma said them, and I can't. Selma
Cause like,
remembered.
wasn't it like Jayhawks or something like that? It was like a blue team, I think.
So they played the blue team.
I don't remember the name.
And I'll put it. I'll put it as an overlay during the podcast. But describe the environment of nationals in Georgia. What was the competition like? Kind of the difference between what you saw that championship that you were part of to where you're playing now.
Yeah, the competition in Georgia was actually pretty good. I remember
they were big.
Yes, huge.
Like abnormally big. It's like they took advantage of the COVID.
Yeah.
Like all these D1 girls showed up.
No, seriously, like the girls there were really good. And I remember like going there and being like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there was going to be like this much talent like around like the country like that we're going to be playing against. And I remember each game being like challenging and hard because like we had a really good team, and I know there were like some games that we were like struggling, and it was like a different like environment to play in because it was like Georgia, it was hot, it was humid, different like I said environment, but we adapted well and ultimately just like played for each other, and it was just like nice to see that, and like we enjoyed it out there playing together. So
Zama describes on her podcast that she did the other day with us about that you guys were down 1-0 and they got a handball in the box.
Yeah.
And you had a bloody nose.
Yeah.
And they wanted you to take the PK, but if you're bleeding, you can't be on the field. So and tell us what happened and what was your experience there?
Yeah. I remember it was literally last like 30 seconds of the game, maybe. It was, we were like, oh no, like we need to like push to win. Like
yeah, we've been over.
Yeah, like it's literally 30 seconds left. Like, and then I remember a play happening, and then I remember it was their backup keeper that was in. Like she was playing like defense for some reason. I think like their player got hurt or something, and like their backup keeper was in. And someone like shot the ball, and she went like, I think instinct went to like grab it.
Oh.
And she like touched it with her hands and went like she went like this with her hands.
So obvious.
Yeah. And I remember seeing it and yelling, I'm like, ref, I'm like, handball, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's what we needed to like get back into the game. And so as soon as that happened, I remember also like like I said, my nose started bleeding, and I was like, oh my gosh. And
just from the dry air, or something? Or?
Yeah, I think it was like the dry air. It was, and because I kept having nosebleeds that weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, so my nose was bleeding, and then they wanted me to take it, and I remember I was like, Z, I'm bleeding, because I like went and turned to her, and she took her jersey and like wiped my face and my nose and like cleaned it all off for me. And then I remember like putting the ball down and like blood dripping from my nose and setting it. I just like looked up and I took the shot, and like we made it. And so
so you guys got through that.
Yeah.
And then like I remember we were at the Georgian Dragon watching the games, and that was kind of the first time I got to see who you're competing with, and I'm like, these girls are huge.
Yeah.
Like they were all tall as you or taller.
There were a lot of girls were taller and bigger.
Yeah. And it wasn't the case this last nationals. No knock on our second national run, but it kind of explains why we put 19 goals and I think 3 against, but you were kind of like the player we needed to be able to be that physical presence to match what they were dealing with. So what did Coach Cigar do with you? How many different positions did you play in those games throughout the tournament? Were you always kind of playing 6 or center back? Where were you in the tournament?
I think I was typically playing the 6. Sometimes I would play center back if I remember correctly. I think, but I feel like I was mostly like in the midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know when you played at Millennium High School when I was coaching you, you played center back, 6, 10, 9, all over the place.
Keeper. Yes.
Keeper. and one of my most favorite goals of all time, and I have to tell the story because Cody called me because she had a flight problem. She's coming home. And she was part of the play when we played Pinnacle High School.
Oh yeah.
And Megan, did you play? You didn't play in that game. You were sick or something. And by the way, Megan Kirker's here, who played at Millennium, good friends with Kiana. She's helping us on the tech side. So thank you, Megan. Show yourself, Megan.
That's my bestie.
Yeah. Which is a available recruit for Phoenix College, Chris Cigar. Go get Megan. She's retired, but a high level player. Yeah. So when you were playing at Millennium, we played Pinnacle with Megan and everybody, exception of Cody and Scout because they had to sit because they transferred.
Yeah.
And we got destroyed, like 5-0.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Like, no, Pinnacle's good. They had like 91 players on that team.
Oh no, yeah, but I just remember it was like a hard game. I was like, oh my gosh.
So we get destroyed, and then we play Pinnacle again, but Megan couldn't play, who's a D1 player who got a scholarship to NAU. Naomi Aguilar couldn't play, who D1 player for ASU.
Aaliyah couldn't play.
Aaliyah Grice, who won a national championship here with Kiana. Who else? There was so many, like
so many people out.
Just out. And Pinnacle shows up to with everybody, and we're like, we don't know what to do. So we're like, oh, we're gonna pack this in, and basically our game plan was leave Cody up there, let her kind of dribble, and if she gets the ball, we'll send Anasol or someone beyond Cody just to see if we don't know. We're kind of like shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
But it was working, and we kept the game 0-0. But and by the way, I tell the story because I'm not a fan of the coach at the time over there. Like, I remember when they beat us 5-0, like something happened between you and a player. You like got stuck in, but totally legal, but the girl got hurt.
Oh yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah, I remember it was a play where I won the ball and I was dribbling up, and then I went to pass the ball, but she kept running at me, and I'm like, I just like stood there, and she
ground.
Like, she ran into me, and the ref called it for me. He said it was he was like, it's your ball, and so like it wasn't a foul on me. I wasn't the one who initiated running into her. Like, she ran into me, and I stood there. I was like, you're not gonna knock me over, so yeah. It's
a violent game, the girls' game, but yeah, she went full speed in you. You stood your ground. You kind of put pressure, or you protect yourself. She got hurt, and she fouled the player, or fouled you, and we got the ball. And he was like, she did it on purpose, and all that. Like, she just stood there, and we got in this whole argument.
Yeah.
And I never forgot it. I'm like, you're up 5-0, and you're going full speed into my players, and we're just trying to get out of here. You know, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he's all amped up, very crazy coach, and we get a corner kick at the very end, and that keeper, where'd she end up playing, that keeper from Pinnacle? She was 6 foot.
I don't know, but wasn't it was D1, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, D1. I thought it was like,
wasn't it like Colorado or something? I don't know,
maybe. But anyways, Cody hits a floating ball, and Kiana gets above the keeper, and I'll put the overlays in there too, gets above the keeper, fully extended, and scores a header, and we win. And I think that's the only time in my whole coaching career at Millennium that I actually jumped up and celebrated with Keatley, because I wanted that, because we weren't expecting anything. We're just like, let's just not get destroyed. Anyways, I've told that story many times. That's like one of my most favorite moments. And I can't wait to put the video in during the time we're talking about this. But yeah, it was such a cool moment. And it's one of my favorite moments with you heading the ball. Were you the one that scored at Verado, or was that Aaliyah? That was you too when we beat Verado?
My senior. Oh,
no,
wait,
freshman year.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Oh my gosh, who crossed it to you?
Naomi.
Oh
yeah.
Tell that story. That's a good one.
I honestly don't remember. I just remember Naomi. Was it a corner also?
It was a corner.
Yeah, I just remember.
But the game. It was another game. Like, Verado was way better.
Oh.
It was your freshman year. We only won 3 games.
I know, but it was just that was my freshman year, Dave. That was like
Oh,
a long time ago.
I remember it. So Verado's way better. They're
Yeah.
just coming off a state championship run. They're all seniors, and one of the things about Millennium is they never have lost to Verado, ever, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Before, even when Millennium wasn't good,
Mhm.
we still beat them. And it was a game. They were up 1-0, and then we somehow scored and tied, and then it got to the end of the game, and there you go again with those last-minute headers. Yeah, so crazy experience. Only few understand the history of that and how historic that was. But you always come up big with these headers. You're at San Jose State. We'll get back to the national championships in a second. You're at San Jose State. How many goals have you scored with your head over there?
I don't think I've scored one with my head actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Shocking.
I've scored.
Do they not know?
They know I'm
Okay.
pretty good with my head, yeah. But it's just I don't know. I feel like I don't really get up into the attack as well. I've been playing center back there, so I don't really get up into the attack. But also on corners, I feel like it's kind of harder. Also, like we have set plays sometimes. Sometimes the ball doesn't always go to the right place. But yeah, I feel like there's different reasons.
Do you watch the show Ted Lasso?
No, I don't have Apple TV.
Oh man! All right, Megan, you watch Ted Lasso? Did you watch last night's episode? Oh, okay, well, no point of talking about, but they it's basically they have a new player on Ted Lasso. Basically he's Zlatan. They did it.
Yeah.
That's who he is. Very ego and all that stuff, and everything's like corner kicks or whatever the guy's name's on there. I forgot what they call him. Zala, or I forget the name. Anyways, so get the ball Zlatan. You know, everything is Zlatan. Free kick Zlatan. All that stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how San Jose State should be treating you. But I digress. All right, back to the national championships. Semifinals. Do you remember?
Who do we Jones or Holmes?
Jones or Holmes? I always get confused between the two. But.
Jones. I think it was Jones. Yeah.
You guys won 2-0?
I think so.
Yeah, you took care of business.
Yeah,
I love how Megan, she's always power of now. I'm just right here, right now. I don't think about the past. I'm just here.
Yes.
All right. National championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you play?
Holmes.
All right, that's Holmes.
Yes.
All right, Holmes. Okay.
Yeah, that one also was a really challenging game. They also had really good players on that team.
Yep.
And I remember, I think it was like 1-1, like at the end of regulation. And
you were up 1-0.
Yeah.
And they scored with like under a minute left.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. That brings back my memory now. Yeah.
What happened? Aren't you the defender?
I wasn't playing.
You were on the sideline?
I don't think I was. Oh, wait, no. Oh, where was I? Was I playing defense? I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember they just had like this. For some reason, I feel like I saw her shooting from, like, I was looking at our goal.
Yeah.
And I remember her shooting. So I don't know where I was or like what I was doing. Like, why? Unless that's just like in my head. I really don't remember. But I just remember like it was literally a minute and then they scored and we're like, what the heck just happened?
Well, okay, so you guys were about to win a national championship and then it was ripped from you and now it's a tie.
Yes.
How do you go from that, change of momentum, and get it back and win that game? What was your emotions like? What were you experiencing? What was your team like?
I think we were all kind of, at the moment you could tell we were kind of like disappointed, like, dang, there's a minute left and we really let them score. But also I feel like our team had a really good like attitude and I felt like we were underdogs and like we just had that like grit, and everyone was just like, you know what, like it's okay, like that happened, but we're gonna move on now. And so, um, yeah, we just took the two overtimes, and then we fought hard. We didn't let them score in the overtime at all or anything. And uh, at the end, I think then we ended up scoring with like literally 30 seconds left in the last overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that I missed the whole first overtime
Mm-hmm.
because we're at the Georgian Dragon. Did you go to that, Megan? Georgian Dragon to watch? No. So there's a lot of people there. So I got the Georgian Dragon. I connected the Fire Stick. I had to show them how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and it was 1-1. Game comes to an end to get ready to go overtime, and Georgian Dragon turns off the TVs, and or turns the channel to the Suns game, and we're like, "Wow, what are you doing?" And because they did that, I had to reset it, and it took like 10 minutes to get it, and it was already in the second half. And they were like, "Well, we thought it was a tie." I'm like, "No, it's a championship game." I was so frustrated. I brought all
I
these
didn't know
people
that.
here. They're paying a lot of money, and you're doing this. And like, oh, yeah, whatever. Anyways, so we got back on. There's like 5 minutes left, and we're like, "Oh, I don't want PKs," and
Yeah.
then the goal happened. What was
Yeah.
that like?
I just remember the build up to it was so nice. Like I think Daisy won it in the back, and then she ended up going wide to Anacel. Anacel put a cross in, and I was actually back there because I was expecting, like, Anacel's such a good player, and I just like feel like we just know each other so well, and I was like, oh, she's gonna go put it in. And so I remember just like running up there, and then Jasmine was there too. And so Jazz ended up she ended up like or the ball ended up going over all the defenders perfectly right to Jazz, and then Jazz finished it.
Yeah, Zelma actually was in front and kind of hit her head kind of into the defender, and then right to Jasmine. But yeah, what a cool moment.
Yeah.
Explain the feeling of like, okay, you won the championship. What was going through your mind, and what were the feelings like? I want to know. I've won one, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah. It was just like I felt so accomplished because we put so much hard work in. I just remember like those days we'd be out on the track running, just so much running. Like there are so many days like girls would like want to stop running. We're like, no, come on, let's go. Like we're gonna finish this. And like that just was like it was like, oh my gosh, like all our hard work was like for this moment right here. And then like I remember when Jazz scored, I just ran and I tackled her to the ground, and everyone just like came running and like was on top of us. And I remember, but when I was, because I was on the bottom, I remember everyone piled on top and I couldn't breathe and I started like freaking out. But
Yeah,
it was just like such a fun moment, and like I just can't like describe the feeling because it was just amazing
and a forever moment. So
Yeah.
now like the 2021 team, you
Mhm.
guys will be friends for life. Like, not saying you wouldn't if you didn't win, but
Yeah.
it's different. You guys will come together several times throughout your lives
Mhm.
to kind of talk about and be part of it, and that's kind of cool. That's why it's a ring,
Mhm.
because it's eternal. It's it's forever.
Yeah.
Which is a cool experience. You never take it. You brought the ring. Where's the ring?
I did.
I want
It's
to
right
see
here.
that. Let's see this ring. This ring is huge.
Here it is.
Look at that.
That thing's huge. Goes on.
Let's give it a close up. Let me see it. Last name,
Yes.
jersey number, inside. What's the inside description say?
This is history making.
And then that's so cool.
Yes. So pretty. So huge.
That is definitely a cool ring, and I got one.
Yes.
Mine's in my office. I forgot to bring it, but yeah, I get a ring for recruiting Kiana. You get a ring for association. I accept. Well, let's talk a little bit about your time at PC. There is a stigma about, oh, I don't want to go play JUCO. I want to play D1. explain what that pressure is from not only like society, culture, everyone. It's
Hmm.
expected. I gotta go D1. I gotta commit by my junior or sophomore year and all that stuff. Explain the pressure that's created um, about going D1 versus junior college and
Yeah, there. I don't know why there's such a big like stigma against it, because now after like going through that experience of going D1 then to a JUCO, um, I remember thinking like even I like was like, oh my gosh, like I was D1 and then I'm gonna go to a JUCO,
mm-hmm.
like that's crazy. Like why would should I go to a JUCO? Why should I be playing at a JUCO? But honestly, it's like really humbling because it's like, no, there's a lot of talent like at the JUCO level too. And I know that like even at San Jose State now, there's some people that are like, oh yeah, like that's crazy you went to a JUCO, like that's really cool, like basic. And I, like when I tell them like, yeah, we won like a national championship, there's some people that are like, wow, like that's really cool. But then there's some people who are also like, well, yeah, you should win a national championship. It's JUCO. But I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like I don't think you really understand like the talent that a lot of teams have, and like all the players, like they're so good. Like our team that year, I'm not sure like how the team was this past year as much, but like I remember our team when I was there. Every girl there like could play at the next level. Every girl there had so much talent.
I remember when you guys were training in late spring of that year, Heinz Mueller made a comment, and Heinz Mueller has won 10 national titles, and he has talent. And when you see softball, you're like, oh my gosh, they're all D1. They're different. You can just
Mm-hmm.
tell by the way they walk and how tall they are.
Yeah.
And he made a comment. He goes, oh my gosh, he goes, that looks like a D1 team. Just their swagger and
Yeah.
Zelma's her height, and then your height, and there's we have every kind of size, but it's different to see. Like even Zelma, you look at her, yeah, she's small in stature, but she looks like a D1 athlete.
Yeah.
She moves like a D1 athlete. She
Oh
is a
yeah.
D1 athlete,
Definitely.
and he made that comment. Um, Even at nationals, like watching that national, I'm like, what the heck? They were all like D1 size. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's there's always that stigma. Oh, you're going JUCO and all that stuff, and um, Division One, it comes with a cost too. You have to
Yeah.
be able to afford to be able to go those places, and junior college gives at least the opportunity to the community, the underserved community, or the second opportunity
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, for players like yourself to kind of bounce back. And you're basically becoming a pioneer for junior colleges, because as universities keep increasing in costs,
Yeah.
it makes it not available. So technically, there's a bigger talent pool available here at Phoenix, where we're at in a big city, to be able to uh, put a really good team.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like telling my sister, I was like, if I could do it over, I would go to a JUCO first also, cuz it's I know it's hard doing like transitioning from living at home with like family, like friends, and then going straight to a university where you're all about yourself.
Yeah,
Like I know that was like a hard transition for me personally, being away from like family and like kind of like being on my own and learning how to like grow up. And at least like at a JUCO, if you're still like in state and everything, like I was, like you're able to kind of have that separation still, but you're still able to like grow up, but still have like your family there with you, if that
yeah,
makes sense. Like you still have like that connection.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
change. I
Yeah.
remember when I went to LMU from Phoenix College, and it was like shock. Like no one's helping me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to get my own food. What? Like
Yeah.
the cupboards aren't full. What's going on here? But yeah, that is definitely different. Um, excuse me. What do you think are kind of important skills and qualities that you need to have to be successful as a student athlete?
I would say you have to be really dedicated to doing this and like hardworking because and responsible because there's so many things you have to balance. Like for me, this past semester has been really challenging because I have school I have to do soccer, and then I also have like an internship that I have to do, like which is required for school. And then I also want to be able to balance like talking to friends and family, and have like a social life as well. So you have to really be dedicated to be able to like balance all of those things and just very like responsible and organized because like for me like keeping a planner helps me like find those little pockets of time to like be able to like talk to my family or even like call Megan because there's so many times where it's like hard for me. I'm like, hey, can I call you in like 20 minutes because I'm like finishing up at practice, or I'm like I have an assignment I have to do. There's just it's like constant like
It's a lot.
busy. Yeah.
The full-time job, and then
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of student athletes have jobs.
Yeah.
You have a job, which is full-time. School's full-time. Soccer's full-time.
Mhm.
That's a lot to balance and deal with. Um, I know. Did you take any in-person classes, or was it all online?
This semester?
No, at PC.
Oh, at PC I had in-person classes at first.
Okay.
Yeah, I had 2 in-person classes, but then COVID happened, so then everything ended up
Transition.
being online for me.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to like ask you this question. I'll ask you anyways. Like, who's your favorite instructor? When in?
Here at
Yeah,
PC?
yeah.
Um
Is that
the one who stuck most with me was her last name was McPherson. I think her first name was maybe Amy.
yeah?
Amy
Amy
McPherson.
McPherson.
Yeah, I remember having I had that class with Bailey actually.
Okay.
And it was a communications class. I think Com 100.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had that class with her, and I just remember her being so like nice and sweet. And there were only like 4 of us. The 4 of us would like, me, Bailey, the Amy, and then one other student would like show up on Zoom and just talk because like no other kids would really show up, and so we were like the only ones who were really there for like the discussion and everything. And I remember it was on Zoom, but it was just like nice to have her there because I feel like with like COVID and everything, we're like isolated. But she was also like an outlet she was so nice and like always wanting to help. And even like after PC and going to like San Jose State, I had to ask her about like my comm class, and she like still helped me out with it. And she was like, oh, if you ever need like a reference or anything, you can always let me know. So yeah, she just always like stuck with me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how was and I get it during COVID, nothing was normal or consistent, but we did have study hall and that was on Zoom and how much were you in need of using, or how beneficial was the SAS mentors you had? You had Frida Amador.
Oh yeah.
And Genevieve Winters, I believe.
Yeah. Fred he's the best like academic like SAS mentor or academic advisor, I guess. Yeah. Also, he was so helpful. Like anything I ever needed, like he was always there for me. And even like I said, if I needed a reference letter, I could ask him. And I remember even after PC and going to San Jose State, he still would like congratulate me on like winning games or like even winning like conference and stuff at San Jose State.
And he does that for everybody. Like when he was the men's soccer SAS mentor, because I brought him on back in 2009, a long time ago, maybe even earlier than that. It's been so long. And he was our SAS mentor for like 10 years, and he still contacts the players from back then. Yeah.
No, he's the nicest person ever. And I remember even on our flight to Georgia, I sat next to him. And we just had like a great conversation all the way there. And yeah, he was so nice. Yeah. So supportive too, because like he even went to Georgia with us and was like supporting us the whole time. So
Yeah,
he's
I
amazing.
don't think he realized he could go. Like I was asking Fred, I'm like, "Are you going to nationals?" He goes, "I don't know." I'm like, "Yes, you're going to nationals." And then I went to Chris's office. I'm like, "Make sure you get Fred's plane ticket and stuff." And it's overwhelming to like do all the paperwork for nationals. It's a nightmare. Just it's a lot of admin work. You can't even coach soccer. You're just doing paperwork. And I talked to KK. I'm like, make sure Fred's going, and like make sure he's there, because I always knew you guys were in nationals. I didn't know it was gonna be that hard.
Yeah.
I always knew. I was like, they have to win, like have to, like it's too talented of a team, and you guys obviously won it, and I didn't want Fred to miss it. I didn't want anyone to miss it.
Yeah.
And I was like wishing like I was there, but then we got the call to go to Wichita to do our own national. So yeah, I wish I was there, but again, I wish we took care of business on our side. But ours was harder, like far as like when they shut down sports on the guy side, they all left, like to other universities. There are universities and junior colleges right away, as like a mass exodus. I lost like 8 starters, and it was so and it was such a stacked team. Not to make this about,
I remember your team was really good.
like we played GCU right before COVID hit. We tied GCU 2-2, but we had the ball the whole time. We were better than GCU, and I was so excited about this team I was getting, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, the soccer gods will not allow me to finish this. But now we're back to normal. We'll be preseason number 1 in the country again, I think. But we're stacked again. As long as no weird things happen to shut everything down, we'll be good to go. But for you, what would you say? The transition. I'm like, you were here, and then you got an offer from San Jose State, and again, it was a coaching change, right? Was the coaching change happen before you got there?
No, it happened
after the season.
After the season, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about San Jose State. You guys won a conference championship?
Yeah, this past season.
When's the last time they won that?
I think it was 2017 or 2018.
Okay. And then then you went to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And drew. Who'd you guys draw? Stanford?
Stanford. Yeah.
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 That's not easy. And they're good. High level.
They're very good. Yeah. I have to say that.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent over there. And they play beautiful soccer too.
Yeah, it was so crazy playing against them, because they're all literally all athletic, all like, I remember there's like one girl played a ball like wide, and the player, you just like I saw it and I was like, oh, she's just gonna let it go out. But no, she sprinted there to get that ball, make sure it didn't go out. Still sprinted all the way down the line, crossed it, and it's like, I was like, oh my gosh. I know in our conference, like if that ball was played wide, like no other player would try and get that ball before it gets out. But that girl just like freak speed, just like sprinted, got it, and like went down the line. And I was like, oh my gosh.
How many national team players do they have on that team? They always have like 7 in the youth system, or
I have no clue. I know they have a lot of good players though.
Yeah, they're crazy talented. I remember I watched them beat North Carolina in the championship in PKs, and I wanted Stanford to win because they played beautiful soccer where North Carolina did not look good that day.
Yeah.
And I want Stanford to be rewarded, and they were. And I was texting Jessica McDonald, I'm like, take that. So you chose to come PC and jump to D1 in San Jose State. Jessica McDonald did the same thing to go come here and go to North Carolina. What's your relationship with Jessica McDonald, and how do you know her? And did she participate in your recruiting here at all?
I know Jessica because of you, and I remember like when we were younger in high school.
Right. She would do camps for us.
Yeah. But when I came here, I never really like she didn't really I feel like we didn't really talk much just because it was also like COVID,
Mm-hmm.
different things happening. But yeah, I don't she didn't really like
Yeah.
do
If you played
much.
harder again, I would have had her call you because Zelma was hard to get.
Yeah.
Like, so we had to have Jessica call her
Uh-huh.
to. She didn't like bend her arm, but let her know, like, listen, that it has everything you need
Yeah.
to be able to go to the next level. And it's kind of cool. Like, Jessica came here. We've on the women's side, there's so many talented players that
Mhm.
went from here to D1 to pro. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like it's always someone new, and
Mhm.
then you're the latest edition, which helps the program for future years because it's not that stigma of JUCO. We're
Yeah.
Phoenix College.
Yeah.
We're not PCC. We're Phoenix College, and it's different, and
Mhm.
it's because of Jessica and you and all the amazing players we've had over time. Kayla Kameli. I mean, there's so many top players
Yeah.
that come here, which is it's fascinating to see. Um, Now you mentioned if you did it all over again, you may have just chose PC and go through that process and then to university.
Yeah.
Um, does it have anything to do with like even elevating your game? Like I think taking steps to elevate your game step by step, getting experience versus going to university and saying, "Hey, look, I'm at a university, but I'm on the bench for 2 years."
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say before was like it was kind of like PC would be like you said kind of like a stepping stone to like help you get to like that next level because it is a step up from like playing high school and club, like playing here at PC definitely like I said like at nationals all those girls were great players. And so um and then it did help me like develop and now I'm able to play at San Jose State. And so like on the field and off the field it helped me like mature, I feel like, coming here. And because like you said, when I went to NAU, I was 18 years old, just fresh out of high school and going to like a D1 program and having to compete against girls who have been there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And so like that's really tough.
And coaching staff were like, "Are we really going to put this game
Yeah.
in an 18-year-old's hands?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the Division One or the NCAA and probably NAIA as well, that they're in a situation they're going to get fired if they lose,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they have that kind of pressure. So they're not about developing players.
Mhm.
They're about I have to win right now because I could lose my job,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And we're not in that situation. We're more we'll lose our job if we don't do right by you, the student athlete, or we don't put you in an environment that you do develop, you do transfer on. That's
Mhm.
how we get fired.
Yeah.
We got to pay attention to that because it's not about we all want to win, but it's more of like we want to. I always say we want to save lives through sport,
Mhm.
and I truly believe that.
Yeah.
How has soccer saved your life?
It's
Like emotionally, spiritually, like
yeah.
what has it done for you? Like, is it a getaway kind of from life? Kind of explain how uh, uh, soccer just can potentially just put you in a situation where you're just kind of get away from things.
Yeah. For me it is like a getaway for a lot of things because like I said there's so many different things going on in life that soccer is one thing I like do love and enjoy, but at like the D1 level it's hard because it sometimes can feel like a job, but at the end of the day it really is like it's something I do love doing. And like when you step onto that field and like practice or play, like everything else like escapes from your mind, like stresses from like school or stresses from like home, like anything like that you just lose track of and then you're just playing the game you love. And so for me like
And then a coach comes in and screams at you and rips the thing that you love away.
yeah.
That's always not fun. And I'm part of the problem, but I'm in recovery. I'm trying to stop yelling at kids. But sorry to
No,
cut you
yeah,
off.
you definitely have changed, Dave.
I know. I changed during the right before you guys almost didn't come back, but
Yeah, our senior year was so fun. We loved it.
that was the best year and still is.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find out how do we get back to that. COVID really messed everything up. It put
Yeah.
everything stopping you. Like, okay, you got to figure things out because you're dealing with a different athlete that's been kind of like stuck on their own, trapped in their house, and
Yeah.
and now we're out, and now we're trying to figure it out,
Mhm.
and we're still dealing with a lot of like depression, anxiety, and all that. It just like through the roof, and they
Yeah.
still want to win, and it's hard to balance all of it. But yeah, it's not easy. But if so, Annika, who is committed here, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Verbally, yeah.
yeah. Well, she needs to sign,
Yeah.
so she's available for everybody. But yeah, Annika, I think for her, and I remember she was. I think Chris saw her train with Excel, and he's like, she received it and turned and played it like quick, like he's like, oh my gosh, who's that?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's Annika. Like, like Annika's gotten so much better. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm excited to see how she goes. And the thing is, she's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. She's
It's
and
just,
which
like,
is
chill.
good. Yeah, no, chill's good if you can handle. But I think she'll be able to handle the pressures of the game because she's so chill.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. What are you studying?
Public health, but I'm gonna go into nursing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in the process of getting into a nursing program over there, or you have to go to another school?
No, the route I'm gonna go is kind of like different. I have to go to like, I'm gonna do a CNA program, certified nursing assistant program, and then
Like learn on the job training kind of thing?
yeah, so like, actually no, I don't. I'm just gonna be like, so I'm gonna go to school to be a certified nurse assistant, and then once I'm, and I feel like that's only like it's like a year, maybe less of schooling, and then once I'm certified, then I'll work at the hospital or wherever I'm working at, and while I'm working there, I'll also like go to school to be a. I want to end up being a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go to school to be a nurse practitioner.
So you'll have another year and a half of school left and
Yeah.
go through that process.
More schooling.
No draft? No professional soccer? You could do it.
Dave.
You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't have
I
to.
don't know. I feel like it's just, I don't know, hard to get drafted anyways. And I feel like also if I get drafted, like I'm not going to get paid as much as I would if I was a certified nurse assistant. And then like
Facts.
it'd be hard to like I would love to play, like I said, playing soccer is really fun, but it's like for me, I feel like I should probably get life started, I guess. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that. And you can, the thing is, like, for me, I've kind of like changed my philosophy on development. Like, even for my kids, like Jack, who's a junior at Millennium, I'm not pushing him to go D1 or anything like that. Like, we were looking at Air Force because it was Air Force. Like, if you can get Air Force, I don't care if you play soccer or not. That's life changing. That'll set you up for life. And I want my son to come to Phoenix College. I don't have an ego where I have to go, oh, Instagram, look at my son, he's D1, and that's the pressure.
Yeah,
it's the pressure. And yeah, I don't want to bring my wife into this, but so I'll stop talking about that. But there's pressure, like, he needs to be looked and go to these ID camps. Like, no, do you not listen to my podcast on Sundays? No. All I care is, will my son love soccer for a lifetime? That is it.
Yeah.
Like Cody, who went to Seattle U, and it was like a job, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
and so she stopped playing, and but she plays like pickup and co-ed and all that. She
Yeah.
still loves it. Like she's flying in for that that indoor soccer league that's going on here.
Yeah.
But she still loves the game, and that's all I care about. But a lot of times, sport is great, but the adults in charge can really ruin it. From youth to NCAA professional, it only takes one coach to really screw it up. And I always have to reflect. I'm like, am I one of those? Yes, I need to stop. I got to find a way to be nice.
Dave, you
And
are nice.
I am nice. But at times I go back in time and lose it. And it's hard to look yourself in the mirror and make change like that. I hope you keep playing. I think soccer is a great sport to keep doing. Plus, you can have an impact on others, little ones. Maybe you get into coaching too. Coaching little ones.
Yeah, that's what, my dad was actually saying that. He's like, you should coach. I was like, I don't know, maybe.
You should become a grad assistant and have them pay for your school.
See, I also have thought about that.
Yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, no debt.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah.
What couple more questions I have for you, and I'll piece this whole podcast up. But what would you say is your favorite thing about Coach Cigar?
My favorite thing.
Drums.
His
steel drums.
His drums are great. He did play those for us.
Yeah, he played at graduation.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
He dances and everything. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he made
He's a good dancer.
Yeah, and he made us food one time. We all went to his house, and he made us food that was really good. But I think
Caribbean.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think my favorite thing about him is his like intensity, but you can also tell he like cares for all the girls, because I remember he just like, I think he just wants like the best for us. And I remember when we were playing that showed a lot. That like at times, yeah, he might yell onto the field and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, he really just wants like what's best for the girls and the team. And you can just really see that also at like nationals. He's just like our dad.
And he's a winner. Like, so he won a national title in college. Now he's won 2 his coaching. I think he might have won another national title somewhere else. But it's something about being around winners, and he's a winner. He's able to navigate and handle those situations because he's been in those situations. I just watched a video of Coach Cigar dogpiling me on YouTube when we played together, because we played pro ball together with the Thunder and the Sand Sharks.
Oh yeah.
But he can run. He's quick. Even when you guys won the national title, he was way ahead of everybody.
Oh yeah, the first one to like run onto the field.
He was so fast. I'm like, oh, there he is. Can't walk for a couple of weeks, but after that. But what questions do you have for us at Phoenix College? What can we do to be better? What are your thoughts on what we need to do?
My thoughts.
Better field.
Mow
it 5 times a week.
I actually really like the field.
The field is beautiful.
When I was here, I don't know how.
Yeah, because no one was on it.
Yeah, didn't you guys get a new track?
Yeah, just now.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's there right now.
I'll go take a look after.
Yeah, it's a cool track.
Yeah.
What's your favorite soccer move that you pulled off in a game?
Fake your roll and go.
Yeah. I'll put that overlay in too.
I don't know. I don't even know if I've ever done it in a game. But everyone says,
how dare you?
It's the pullback roll and go.
Yeah.
I always do that.
Oh, so that does work. Okay, good.
Yeah, the pullback roll and go.
And how many of the girls from San Jose State can do that?
Not
Zero.
There's only one.
Just Kiana.
And no one can do the fakey roll and go. Except for me.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I do. I give what others cannot do.
The only other person I know who can probably do it is like Anaya. She can So good. See, if I was as good as her, I would go pro.
What are you talking about? Um, yeah, Anaya's a superstar, but we need to like push her down a little bit with reality. There's something about you, Kiana, and I've always said it. Like you, I remember when we were in the state that state championship run. We were 22-1-1 or whatever, and you scored 18 goals from center back. Like you were. We put you up front for like 5 minutes. You get the goal, and then we put you back in the back. But you always find a way to score. But you always scored big goals your whole career, whether you know it or not. It's always been big. The Verado game, the Pinnacle game. I mean, how many game winners? I have no idea. You've always found a way to compete. Well, you rose up. Sometimes I remember you get teary-eyed and like emotional and that, but it didn't change your game.
Yeah.
Like, should I pull her out? She might hurt somebody. She's angry, and you just played. You're fine. But yeah, you're a high-level talent, and the thing is, everyone thinks like you do. Everyone thinks they're not good enough. That's just a normal thing to do. But here, as I announce this on the PC podcast, I can identify talent better than anybody. I didn't know that was a skill, but apparently it is.
It is.
Because I've talked to a lot of people, very talented coaches that make recommendations. I'm like, what was that? They don't know. I can see. I didn't know it was a skill, but I can identify talent. That's why the men's soccer team's really good. Yeah, every year we're crazy talented.
Yeah,
but then I coach and ruin it. But I can bring the talent. I just need to step away. Same on the women's side. Like I know what talent is. You're talented, Kiana. Crazy talented. If you decide to push that way, you'd be fine. Aren't you just a little curious?
Yeah. I have like thought about it a little bit, because also like soccer is something that like all I really not know how to do, but like it's so familiar and I like love it, and like to keep doing that would be great. But it's just also, like I said, like kind of hard to get recruited, and I don't know, like playing at the next level, like watching some NWSL games, I'm like, oh, I feel like I could like hop in there and do a little bit. But
totally.
Yeah, but also I don't know, maybe playing a different position. Maybe if I played up top. Even my coach at San Jose State says because like we did like a finishing drill one time and I scored all my goals. And like, I hope no one from my team watches this, but like some girls didn't like score.
I'll tag them.
No. Some girls didn't score, and she was like, yeah, like you're our best finisher. And so like in our championship game, if we really needed a goal, she was going to put me up top, but we ended up like holding it down and tying and going to PKs because our goalie was crazy good. And so we knew like if we went to PKs, we'd be fine. But like if we were down a goal and we really needed to score, like she would put me up top because I was like the best finisher on the team.
Same thing happened to you in club. Same thing happened to you in high school. Same thing happened to you at PC.
Yeah, so
you see the pattern.
Yeah, and that's what gives me hope. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I could play. But then also I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 15-year-olds getting recruited, Dave. How am I gonna get recruited out of all the pool of girls?
I'll give you an example. Freddie Adu, remember him? Freddie Adu was a 14-year-old phenom, signed a professional contract at 14. He was the savior to the MLS. Where's Freddie now? Gone. A lot of, like I said, identifying talent is a skill, and there's a lot of unskilled recruiters in the professional leagues. They don't know. There's a reason some schools opted out on you, didn't think you were good enough, because they're unskilled recruiters. They don't know. I didn't know that people are this ignorant to talent, and they are, and they're at D1, they're at pro. Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to make a decision, understanding that people don't know what they're talking about, and know what your worth is, and going to find out. And if you have a door shut on you, be like, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. I go on to the next one. That's how Jessica did it.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica was told no a lot. And Jessica doesn't have the skill you have. What you don't have that Jessica has is a drive for that.
Yeah.
It's all about making decisions. If you make the decision, you'll be fine. And even if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
But you don't want to be my age with horrible knees being like, I could have made it. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're young once. You only have cartilage once. And my cartilage is gone. Where is it, Megan? I want my cartilage back. I do anything to be able to run and do a fakie roll and go without lightning bolt pain in my knees. So, yeah. Well, I hope you do play.
Thanks.
And we, on behalf of Phoenix College, we're so grateful that you chose PC to be a place that you can elevate yourself, and you're elevating, obviously, our athletic program by being hopefully a Hall of Famer one day.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Oh, I want to be there. Invite me.
I will.
Give me a
for
ticket.
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. So, any parting words, Kiana?
So grateful for everything that PC offered me, and for Dave for having me here. Thank you.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Is a great podcast, and I love the setup now.
I do. And you need to come on my Sunday show one day. I can just Zoom you in from San Jose State, which would be kind of cool. Like after you score like a game-winning header on a corner, you're due. Like 5 of them this upcoming fall. So
okay, I will.
Okay. Well, I'll support Kiana as she plays her final season at San Jose State and hopefully enters the draft and gets selected as a first-round draft pick to the Chicago Red Stars. That's my prediction.
Oh, right. I would love to play for the Chicago Red Stars, actually.
I have a Chicago Red Star jersey behind here. I'll show you after. It's Jessica's. She gave it to me. I kept it. That's her first team she played for. Anyways, this is the Phoenix College podcast with Kiana Miyazato and Coach Cameron and Megan Kirker, a future Bear, maybe. We'll be back with another unbelievable athlete on our next podcast. Peace.